Hi, thanks for joining us on the Nourishing the Community Podcast, where we're going to be talking about all things happening in the community with nonprofits and community needs and how you, the listener, can get involved and make some change. I'm your host, LaDonna Parham. This is my co-host,
Norman Housch. Welcome to the show.
Hey there. Thanks for joining us on Nourishing the Community Podcast this morning. So excited to have y'all here. I'm LaDonna Parham with Nourish Food Bank.
And I'm Norman Housch. And in the hot seat today, we have Miss Robin Housch. How are you with the sweet addiction?
I am fine today. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you. So you started the sweet addiction, correct?
I did.
Tell us a little history. When did it start? Why did it start? What made you feel like this was the thing to do?
It started in 2019. Actually, it's 2016. I started A&H Companies, which is a recruiting company. And I would continually have people coming into my office that had barriers to employment or they had felonies, and people were not hiring at that time. You know, anybody with backgrounds. That's one thing COVID did good for us, is that people looked for alternative employees, which was great. But prior to that, people were not hiring. And I would continually get phone calls from the career center saying, Robin, will you talk to this person? And literally, I'd pick up the phone and I'd call a local company and say, hey, I have a great person with a felony. Can you hire them? No, we don't want your business. I'm not trying to get business. I'm trying to get this person hired. So fast forward 2019, it was Labor Day weekend. It was a Thursday, and I had 4 ladies come in from Doors of Hope. They've been brought in by Barbara, and it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And Miss Robin, we were told to come see you. We've been to all the job fairs and no one will hire us. Okay. So I said, well, let's talk. So I talked to one young lady, and her background wasn't too bad. We were able to place her immediately. I talked to another one, and she said, she told me some things, and I'm like, just didn't feel like, my gut was like, no, not this one. And sure enough, a week later, she had relapsed. Then the other 2 ladies, Keisha and Rachel, which I'm happy to say they're still in recovery, they're still doing great, sat down in front of me with tears in her eyes and said, Miss Robin, you can't help us. And I said, well, tell me a story. Well, I have a felony robbery and a felony burglary. I just got out of jail in January. Miss Robin, I got out of jail with 2 felony thefts just a month ago. So my mind's going, my clients are not going to hire these girls. Mm-hmm. What do I do with them? I said, well, tell me your story. So they told me this story. They recounted it. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that it's your choices don't define you. Good people make poor choices. And let's be honest, the 3 of us sitting here probably made some choices that if we had gotten caught, we would have been in big trouble.
Maybe.
I think every Gen Xer is super grateful that social media didn't exist.
That's
when
right.
we were
I would never own any of it. Yes, that's not a thing.
So long story short, I'm sitting having a conversation with them horizontally, and I'm a believer. So I'm having a horizontal, vertical conversation with God saying, what in the crap am I going to do with these people? And they're talking and they're devastated. You can't hire us. So I just felt in my spirit that I'm like, I'm supposed to hire them. So I'm arguing with God, or your higher power, whatever you want to call him. I'm arguing with him saying, listen, I'm 3 years in business. I know what my payroll is, and I cannot support another mouth, so to speak. He said, hire him. I said, what are they going to do? And then, of course, they're talking about this story. The whole time I'm having this internal conversation. And he said, you hire him in, I'll tell you the weekend. You're going to pray about it. So I looked at the girl and said, Keisha, Rachel, come in on Tuesday. You have a job at X amount of money. Of course, they were elated. And they said, well, Miss Robin, and this is how it all started. They said, Miss Robin, what are we going to do? I said, I have a dang clue. I'm going to pray over the weekend and tell you on Tuesday. And that's how it started. 6 months later, or actually March, I felt impelled. And I said, you know what? There are too many women with barriers to employment. And the people I had been able to place previously, they'd get out in the job force and they'd fail because they just came out of incarceration. Mm-hmm. You know, they had been institutionalized, or they had been in addiction or whatever. They didn't know how to deal with structure, mm-hmm. You know, communication, conflict resolution. So March 2020, I said, okay, let's start a nonprofit. Let's do a job readiness program. Let's use baking. And because I had one of those proverbial whiteboards, all these different ideas. I said, okay, well, that one we're going to use this for. And we did. And the problem with that is you can't sell cupcakes and cheesecakes in a pandemic, which hit us the month after.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that kind of was the preface for how it all started. And, you know, at that point, my business took a huge dive. And so as a recruiting company, and I went down to like 10% of my people, but I decided
Because
to.
nobody's hiring in the middle of a pandemic.
That's right. Nobody's hiring in the middle of a pandemic. And I had the choice. Do I keep people working? And I thought, you know what? My business is not about making a lot of money. It's about changing lives. Even A&H is about changing lives. All right, we're going to keep the doors open. And anybody who wanted to work came, and we changed all of our computers to sewing machines. And I have a friend of mine, as luck would have it, or God would have it, I have a friend of mine who's a designer, who works with designers in New York. So she came in and taught everybody how to make masks. So we were one of those crazy people sending masks to Vanderbilt and every place else.
Yeah,
But people
I think we
stayed
got
working.
some of those
Yes,
at the food bank.
You did, yeah. So we just kept people working. That's okay. So we kept people working.
Thanks,
That went
producer
into
Trent.
Yeah, that went into a lot of different things. And if you have questions, you can stop me. But that went into a lot of different things. We did some stuff with the homeless. We ended up making, after that all went away. The girls, I still had like 8 girls from Doors of Hope, still needed jobs. What do I do now? So at that point, I said, you know what? Let's move to the next level. So I said, girls, what do you want to do? I said, you know what? I'm seeing people carrying these garbage bags for the homeless. Can we do something? One of the girls said, I was in those camps. Yeah, we do something, but Robin, they carry them because they're waterproof. I said, so what's the problem? Let's make something that's waterproof. So they designed a bag based on their experience.
That's awesome.
You know, that's a backpack type deal, and we waterproofed them.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
So now you're into where we're at now, and we're into our, into our cooking and baking.
Do you still do the backpack?
We still have some we're donating. Mm-hmm. I have another lady who's coming back on board that she wants to do them again for this year. So we've been doing them every year for 4 years.
So I bet, social enterprise wise, I bet that you could sell those, especially with all the concert goers in the area and that do the outside ones and the festival goers. Like I'm thinking Bonnaroo, Louder Than Life, all those people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just gave me a whole new idea. That's my big list of entrepreneurial
whiteboard.
On my whiteboard. That's already this long, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're into all the baking now. What does that look like? What is the current iteration of Sweet Addiction?
The current iteration of Sweet Addiction is we're baking. We're actually opening up this weekend with Carpe Artista. They're reopening their cafe. They'll be selling their coffee.
Yay.
And we're partnering with Ron and his group.
They're so great.
They're awesome. So all of our sweets will be there.
We'll have to bring Ron on. He's such a sweetheart.
Oh, he is an awesome man. Awesome man. And now we're doing catering. So the community has been phenomenal. The Rutherford County Cable, Rutherford Leadership, the chamber, they really embraced us.
Mm-hmm. One of my diplomat friends, Courtney Vondenberg, is on your board.
Yes, she's on our board. She's phenomenal. So that's where we're at now. We're catering and doing a lot of things. We're going to have an upcoming event.
Ooh, tell us about it.
October 25th, 7:30 to 9 at the warehouse. And it's
7:30 to 9:30 a.m.
It's a breakfast.
It's a breakfast.
Okay.
And
but she says it's the best biscuits and gravy that she's ever.
I'm just going to be fair.
I know you and biscuits and gravy.
I love biscuits and gravy, but 7:30.
Well, you can come
we also know me an alarm clock.
8:55, and I'll make sure you get some. Okay, just buy
a
ticket.
That's a lot closer to happening. Yeah,
and that's October 25th.
October 25th
at the warehouse.
So you say buy tickets. How do they get tickets?
They can go to thesweetaddiction.com.
Okay.
And
with the V. With the sweetaddiction.com.
Okay.
Or you can put this up on your website. There is a QR code. We've kind of gotten,
awesome.
A little bit about that. But if they also want to order sweets, they can order sweets. We're the best dang fried pies you ever put in your mouth. Just telling you.
Nice.
What flavors?
So, we do apple, blueberry, and peach when it's in season.
Come on.
You
want a cherry?
Well, no. This is why we don't
chocolate.
I think that's a Southern thing.
or I've had before coconut custard.
That'd be good. But I'll tell you why we don't do cherry.
Okay.
Because all of our pies, they actually peel the fruit and cook the fruit. We don't do anything out of a jar or a can.
Nice.
Nothing. It's all from scratch.
Cherries are a pain in the butt.
That's fair. Pain in the butt.
That's fair.
However, it's the best food in the world.
Okay, so if I come up with one, I'll call it you.
Just call me. I'll taste test anything.
Food Bank cherry pie.
Yes.
Not made from scratch.
I mean, that's
even if it's
so
made from scratch. Like,
are you going to peel the cherries?
I won't peel them, but I'll pop the seeds out. By golly.
you tell me that, you're going to get a whole 5 pounds of cherries
Right.
sitting in
I'm
your
not
desk.
scared.
You should
I
be
will do it for a
scared,
cherry
I
pie.
feel.
I'm down.
So other than fried pies, when you cater, what all do you offer?
Oh my goodness. So we're really mostly heavy hors d'oeuvres, but we now are birthing into more. Like
Okay.
we have Yankee pot roast.
Oh,
We're looking at a new, I do have a recipe. I haven't brought it out yet to the Sweet Addiction, but it is a spinach stuffed chicken bacon wrapped breast. Yeah. So we do about a little bit of everything. There's not much we can't do. We've done as many as 400 people.
okay.
We did the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast for Christy and her group over at Greenhouse. So yeah, there's not much we can't do. But right now, all of our flavors are very different. And I think that's what's nice about us. You can't get our flavors anywhere else because we modify them. The girls come up with different recipes and they're always tweaking. You get a ham and cheese. It's not just a ham and cheese. It's got a special marmalade and dressing and all this type of stuff. Our claim to fame recently is our new chicken teriyaki slider with pineapple slaw.
Sold.
That does sound quite yummy.
Sold.
Mm.
So when are you opening up a storefront? Because I'm sure that's on the whiteboard.
It
I feel
is on
pretty
the
confident.
whiteboard.
I knew it.
It is on the whiteboard. So at this point, one of my board members is looking to purchase a piece of property. Our goal is twofold: to have a cafe at the bottom and housing up top, because a lot of times these women cannot get to work. Right now, like I said, we're opening up a Cafe Artista, Carpe Artista. So you'll be able to get our stuff there.
And that grand opening is
this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
Thursday.
I've got to start looking at things better. I think is a problem for me.
So we'll be featuring.
Yeah. So y'all will be using the kitchen there at Carpe.
We do use the
Cafe,
kitchen,
right?
Yes.
And working every day there.
We'll be working every day there. That we work every day out of the kitchen, and we do our catering, everything out of there. But
So I thought you at one point were paired up with
Liberty Station.
Yes.
Joey's great.
Yes. Are y'all still there, or are y'all just not using that space anymore?
Jody is growing and her training is growing. So it became a situation where she needed more space in her kitchen, more time in her kitchen. And we were growing at the same time. So we needed more full time. So with Ron, we have it 24/7.
Right.
Which makes it a lot easier for us to get in and out. Because at one point we were navigating between 2 or 3 different places and it became a nightmare.
Right.
Yeah.
You've used our space at one point for something.
We were going to. And we ended up getting Carpe the next week. So but amazing food. That's all I can say. It is amazing. The big dream is I have to give kudos to KDGI, if you're familiar with Brandon Harvey and his group. They have done a master plan for us. The big dream is to eventually open up a transition community with home ownership for the ladies.
That would be phenomenal.
Home ownership. So at the end of 3 to 12 years, they have to go through a lot of things. They would actually own it. So, we're looking for land. We were promised some land, but it hasn't come through. So we're looking for land to push that forward. There's a lot more to it. We have a stool program we've implemented. Stool. I know it's a funny name for a program, right?
Like,
has my microphone died?
It's me. I'm the problem.
Then why did you tell me to talk into it, Trent?
He was just telling everybody so he didn't have to say, LaDonna, you're a problem again because you've
I
gone
swear
off script.
on everything that is good and holy, Trent, I'm going to come over your monitors today.
I'm so glad I'm in a friendly environment.
Can you feel the love?
It is
We
very
truly
much.
adore each other.
It is very much.
Kumbaya.
I love environment.
No. He loves to put up with our stupid.
No, and if you're around us for more than 30 seconds, we fight as a form of love. So
it's our love language.
It is.
There you go.
So sit in it and own it is all I can say.
So is that what's really going on with my husband and
Yes, more than likely. Welcome to Nourishing the Community,
right?
Where we talk about all things.
Look, I didn't get a Dunkin'.
I'm sorry. I was trying to hurry through the line.
It takes extra time to order a second
It
one.
does. It took them long
It
to.
does.
Sorry. We get distracted.
I'll drop off some fried pies today for you, okay?
It won't be cherry.
So fried pies are my favorite thing. And one of my favorite memories growing up was I didn't get to live near any of my grandparents or great-grandparents. And my Am I in the mic? I didn't get to
Probably
live near
not.
my grandparents or great grandparents because my dad was in the Navy, so we were moving around all the time. But when we would visit my great grandmother, she would always make apricot fried pies. I would look forward to it. Don't make that face. They were
Apricot.
phenomenal. They were like a sweet tart instead
Oh
of
my
just
gosh.
sugar in your face. Oh God, it was so good. And you can't find them anymore. You can find peach, which is also good, but you can't find apricot.
Yeah.
It was the stuff.
I think I have a challenge.
I mean, you're getting all kinds of challenges.
I
You want to sit here a
mean-
little longer? Let's talk some more.
Hey,
I'll
go
come
for
up
it.
with more things.
Trent, do you have a
Trust
whiteboard we
me.
can borrow? We're
Yeah.
on it.
We're on it today. So let's talk a little bit more about your Tip the Waitress fundraiser coming up, breakfast fundraiser coming up at the warehouse on October 25th from 7:30 to 9:30
a.m. because breakfast.
What all are y'all doing? What is going to be going on at this fundraiser? Just come in, sit down, eat, and leave?
No,
Okay.
actually, we will have some testimonials from some of the girls who've come through the program.
Awesome.
Because there's different parts of the program. You know, basically teaching them to be job readiness and good employees, the basic stuff. I didn't even get into all that because I always get excited about the food. But yeah, it's when I'm not 500 pounds at this point. Just caveat that I'm not supposed to eat sugar, and I started a sweets. I mean, something's just not right with that. But
it was a solid plan.
It was a solid
plan.
Good. Yes, so we're going to have a magician there.
Okay.
And we will have some testimonials that Devin O'Day has done for us online. So we'll have some video and silent auction. We get over $4,000 worth of things we're giving away, or not giving away, but you can bid on. And it'd just be a great time. The girls will be, walking around, and you get a chance to talk to them and tip them. And everything, I have to stress, 100% of whatever you give goes right back to the program. Nothing is taken out for administrative fees. I'm paid on the other side with my other company. So 100%. It's going to be a good time to get to know a little bit about the program and eat delicious food. Wear your grandma pants if you have them. Sorry if anybody's out there, but wear the elastic.
Or at least plan on unbuttoning.
Unbutton and a big shirt over. We'll have some phenomenal hash brown casserole, which I've been told by people in high places that it raves Cracker Barrel. And biscuits and gravy. And Stacy is a former Mennonite, so she knows how to do that biscuits and gravy with like 3 or 4 different sausages and bacon grease and all the good stuff that hardens your heart.
I mean, she had me at biscuits and gravy when she walked in.
I mean, I'm so particular about my gravy, though, right? Like,
are you? Because we were driving through Smyrna and you saw a biscuit and gravy truck, like food truck, and I thought you were going to wreck the car.
I mean, I didn't say I don't like gravy. I said I'm particular about it. It's got to be good gravy.
So you're going to have biscuit and gravy with all the sausages and the bacon grease. And you're going to have hash brown casserole. What else are you going to have?
We have some bacon. We'll have our award-winning apple cinnamon rolls.
Nice.
Apple cinnamon rolls.
See, I'm just not a fan of cooked apples. What is wrong with me?
You have a texture thing. You're just weird.
It is a texture thing.
You're
It's
just
like
weird.
putting... Never mind. I won't go there.
So...
You know what? If you promise to get your butt up early, I'll have a plain one for you.
I can't promise anything right now. 7:30
He's like,
is
my commitment
really...
level is right down here for anything.
I would have to get up at like 5:30 to get ready to get there by...
I mean, if you leave your phone on ring instead of silent, I'll call you in the morning and wake you up.
I swear it's on ring. That's a busy week too. Anyway, yeah.
So
I'll be
how much
there.
are tickets?
$50.
$50. And then they'll have an opportunity to tip their waitresses while they're there. Will they give them cash? Will they scan a code at their table? How will they do that?
There'll be a code to scan. Or we'll also have a jar or something on the table that is locked, so they can put the money in there, whichever way you want to do it.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Now, do you ever have volunteers that work with you?
We have our board. We are growing. We're looking for board members.
And how does somebody get in touch with you about that?
They could contact me directly. My direct number is 615-485-1420. Or they can contact me at rhousch, that's RHOUSCH, at thesweetaddiction.com.
Okay. Is that on the website?
It is.
Okay.
And there's an info on the website as well.
Thesweetaddiction.com.
And you have other socials or just the website?
We do have socials. We do have, I'm not all into that. I have to go to Danielle for that. I know we have Instagram and Facebook, and I'm not sure what else.
And those are probably at The Sweet Addiction.
Yes.
Would be the handle for those.
Yep, at The Sweet Addiction.
Awesome.
But it's a great thing. I mean, you'll hear testimonies of girls whose lives have changed. I mean, they're doing things now in the community, and then some of them are mentoring, and
That's
giving
awesome.
back.
That's really awesome. So while we're talking about it, so you say you cater. Can they find catering menus and costs at the website?
So they would have to contact us at info@thesweetaddiction.com, and we'll talk to them and send them a catering menu. And then we prefer to do it one-on-one right now because we're so new,
Mm-hmm.
and that we kind of feel you out. And that really is how we've added to our menu, because some of our potential clients have said, I really like to have this. Can you do this? My answer is always yes.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Always yes.
But you can send samples of things that you've done in the past, because I know
yes.
If we were having a conversation about what do you want at your party, I'd be like, I have no idea. I have no idea. What do you have? Like, I just get total brain freeze.
We've dealt with
like
that
I need to,
occasion. Like, what do you have? And they're like, well, what do you want? Well, you're the caterer. Tell me what I want.
Right. Yeah. And
I didn't sit down and create a menu for this.
And that's why we have a conversation, because we'll sit down and ask, how many people, what kind of atmosphere you're going to have. Do you want high elevated food? Because we have a Christmas party coming up. They want more heavy hors d'oeuvres like shrimp and things of that nature. Then you have, the casual event where they want the sliders. So that allows us to have a conversation and really formulate it together. If you want to see pictures on our website, you can go into a gallery and you'll see pictures of our food. It's a constant work in progress, but you can see some of the tables, the spreads. We do it nice. Everything's very elegant.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, we don't just go and throw food on the table. I don't believe in that. Because I'm in the community. It's my reputation.
Right. Yeah.
And so if people want to get involved and support you currently outside of being on the board, there's not really like a volunteer opportunity, but they could use you for catering for any events that they have coming up or attend this fundraiser. Do you have any other fundraisers that you do during the year?
In the spring, we'll have the Great Bake Off. We have a bake off. We had it last year, and then we went up against 2 other bakers in the area, Sammy B and someone else, and it was a phenomenal event. We had some country music, and we had the general public did the judging on everybody, as well as a panel of celebrity judges.
You did that at Walnut House?
We did. We did at Walnut House. We had a really good attendance for the first one, so we're looking forward to that next year too.
That's awesome.
But you got to come. You got to talk to the ladies. You got to hear about their stories.
Can you share one of their stories with us?
I can. I won't tell her name for obvious reasons, but she grew up in a home, and she lost her mom, and she became a very she elevated herself up, and then she got caught on drugs, and she came into the program. And she was into selling and everything. And she came in the program. And I love to talk about her because when she was in the program, she was seamstress from Doors of Hope, came in there in the beginning. And I'll call her Susie. And Susie, when she recounts her story, she actually came in and then she worked with us for a while. Then I was able to get her into a global client through my recruiting company. And she worked her way into leadership. And then they laid her off. So now she's working with me. But she told me the turning point in her life, and you can appreciate this because you work with Nourish and people. Turning point in her life was she came in one time, we were doing sewing, and she said to me, which thread color do I use? Because you understand they've been beaten down so much. And she said the turning point in her life was when I looked at her and says, I trust your judgment. 4 words. That was it. So she's successful. She's doing wonderful. Another young lady, we put her through the program. We do time studies because I made them learn time studies when they were producing all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll call her Jane. And Jane called me up one day after she had gone out to another client. And she called me. She said, Robin, I just got promoted. And she got promoted. Why? She says, because he asked if anybody knew how to do time studies. And I told him I knew how to do it. And now she's mentoring. She's doing great as she's mentoring.
That's great.
So those are just 2 of the stories. Mm-hmm.
And most of the women who come to be part of the program are coming out of prior incarceration or...
They come from all walks of life, but they're usually prior incarceration or they've got barriers to employment. I've got a young lady who is with me now. Sometimes they're with me just a few weeks. Sometimes they're with me 3 to 6 months. It just depends. It's kind of whatever they need. She's with me right now because she came out back. She's clean again. She didn't have a license. She was referred to me, didn't have a license, didn't need to get a license. So we help them get their license. It's things we pay for, to get them on. So she's now there. I got another one that was a single mom. She was with me for almost a year, but she couldn't keep a regular schedule. So we had to modify her schedule and hold her to those schedules. So they can come up they come from referrals. We like to work mostly with established entities, but we will work with others because there's a need. They just need somebody to believe in them.
So they come through referrals, not just directly to you.
Mm-hmm. They do. They come through referrals. So the community, the recovery community is large here. Mm-hmm. Very large.
Yes.
That's great. Well, and I think it's important, that sense of I trust your judgment and that sense of you can create a path forward for yourself. We talk a lot on this show, and it's amazing how often this particular theme comes up with whatever that type of nonprofit agency is. But the judgment that people face, whatever their barrier is in their life. And so much of that happens with the previously incarcerated or those who are going through recovery. And it's easy when you haven't walked in those shoes to not understand what leads them to that point. People tend to be very, I would never, whatever that thing is, they would never do that thing. But did you grow up in a home with no parents who cared, not even a single parent household, no parents who cared about you? Were you bounced around in a foster system? Were you abused and ran away at 13 and you were living on the streets? What does survival look like to you then versus somebody who grew up in a home where your parents cared about? Did you have shoes on your feet, even if they had holes in them? And did you get to school and did you make it through that? Those are very different life paths. And what survival looks like down those life paths are very different. And I don't think anybody can sit in judgment over here of what leads somebody down that path because you just don't know. And I think we have a lot of women in particular, obviously men as well, but a lot of women in particular who come out of abusive situations, who end up on a substance that is not good for them, either as part of that escape or that survival, or as part of the abuser's method for controlling them and beating them down and keeping them under those wraps. And so breaking free of that takes more than just saying, all right, I don't want to anymore.
It really does, because what we've found is what we're doing in society now, and we're getting better at it, is we'll put them through a program, recovery program, we'll put them through whatever, and then we say, okay, you're cured. Go live a normal life. They don't know what normal is.
Right.
They don't
There's
know what
also
normal
no such thing as cured from addiction.
I know.
Right.
But
let's be clear here. That's a lifelong fight.
It is a lifelong fight. It's a moment-by-moment fight. But they don't know what normality is.
Right.
They just don't. And with our program, we're developing it. We're developing the stool program, which is going to attract the mind, body, and spirit. We're in the process of writing that to address all areas, because the three-legged stool can't stand, and we are mind, body, and spirit. And right now we address sometimes the addiction and the mind, but we don't address and sometimes the spirit, not always, but the body too. It all feeds. We're a machine that works together, so that's what we're putting in place. That's our future goal, is to have these programs.
Well, that's phenomenal. And if you're able to have that location that you've been talking about where you can kind of co-locate those services and the housing and the baking program, it sort of all works together.
It does. And we all get fat in the meantime.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with getting a little chunky.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I love
fall.
To eat, so.
It's sweaters over legging season, which gives you plenty of room for all of the sweet stuff.
So tell me more. You've got the grand opening this weekend. So excited for you and them and everyone involved. I'll try to make it down for that. It's on a Saturday, so I should be able to make it down for that. What all do y'all have planned for that grand opening? Re-grand opening. Let me phrase myself. It's a re-grand opening.
It's a re-grand opening. I think that's something I can't tell you because I'm not on that side of it.
Oh.
We're just providing the food.
Okay.
And Ron and his group are doing all that. We are going to have a ribbon cutting at some point coming up once we get. So would you? Yeah. So I really can't speak to that right now. But all I can tell you is between 7:30 and 1 o'clock, just come and eat. Grab a cup of Joe.
Okay.
Grab a cup of Joe.
I will be driving back from out of town, so I really hate to miss it, but eat extra for me. Send me pictures.
Biscuits
I'll
and
be
gravy
getting
will
ready
be
to drive
served
out of
next
town.
week.
You can even take a plate to go and refrigerate it, and I'll pick it up on Sunday.
That's really cute. No.
Love you too.
I see the love.
Yeah. Well, you'll be driving in. I'll be driving out. I'll be in Pulaski Saturday, so
I'm sorry.
it's okay. So I'll try to make it down to Smyrna. We'll see what happens.
I'm excited. And I'll reach out to Ron, and I'm sure he's got a
Yeah,
flyer or something that we
sure.
can share on our socials.
Yeah. And Smyrna's really close to that site. So, like, when I go through there, I try to stop and grab a coffee.
They have great coffee.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't realize there's such an art to coffee.
Such an art. Yeah.
I really want one of those fancy coffee machines at the office. We have
You wouldn't get any work done.
I would get all the work done because I would have all the coffee in my system to power me through. Just think of how productive I would be with my fancy coffee.
Okay.
Killing
You
it.
have the next thing you
You
have
would be
put in there.
spending hours trying to figure out how to use the coffee machine.
Rude.
I mean, I think we've discussed this before.
Always shooting down my ideas.
I'm sorry.
Why don't you trust my judgment?
I try very hard.
You try my.
Rude.
You got too much.
We know. We've been told.
We know. We're a lot.
Lovable.
So what else do you feel like people should know about the sweet addiction, or you or the girls, and how to best be involved in that movement?
Get the word out. Share. We have purposely set up with the bakery and that so that we can fund ourselves, but they can also donate. If they want to donate to us financially, we have, and I'll put a plug in for him because he's a supporter of us. Jay Tedder and Tedder Company supports us monthly. And if you support us monthly, then you get a dozen sweets every month. So just saying.
And what is that support level?
I mean, I've got $10 I'll throw in every month. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that level look like? How do they get that
It's $500.
delicious treat? $500 a month.
$500 a month.
And you get 12 free treats.
12 free treats every month. Yeah.
And the joy of supporting the girls.
And the joy of
supporting the girls.
Others, yes.
If you're an employer out there, because you do have employers out there, if they want to partner with us so they can hire some of the girls, give them opportunities, they can. And not a plug for my side of the business, but the other side of the business, we're not a typical staffing company by any shape of the imagination. We do things very differently, and we will look for opportunities to put some of these girls out there they can have hands-on training, and then we can bond them and things of that nature so that they can get reliable individuals. They're actually giving back to the community, helping them, helping us, and it just becomes a win-win all the way around. So those are a couple opportunities. If people want to volunteer, we do have a food truck. We have the Sweet Addiction Big Pink Food Truck. And we do sometimes need people to help us on the food truck on the weekends. And I know we will need some volunteers the Friday before the event. I don't know what that date is, to put some baskets together for the event.
Before this one?
For that
So
event.
Friday,
Like the
October
auction
24th.
baskets.
The auction baskets.
Okay.
If people want to donate some old baskets they have hanging around their house, we really could use some of those because we're going to spray paint them, put the gift cards and a bunch of things together because the girls are wonderful putting baskets together. And that's the auction items.
And if they want to volunteer, they should email you?
They can email me directly. And either I'll be back in contact with them or Danielle. She's my executive assistant, and she'll be in contact with them. If you know somebody out there who likes to write programs, who has, about the physical aspects of your body and the spiritual and different things, we can talk about the stool program all day, and they can help us write those programs to put into place. And
Great.
Stool sounds like a funny name, but it is a 3-legged stool. It's not something else. And people say that's a horrible name.
It is a horrible name.
But it stands for Simple Tools Overcome Obstacles in Life.
Got it.
So, and if they want to mentor some girls, I just want to be here to help, navigate and get people places, they back and forth to work. We are in Smyrna. So what we found in working with some entities here, agencies, is we can't always get people to work in Smyrna. The girls in Smyrna.
I was wondering, because that's a long job.
It is.
Especially when you don't have transportation.
It is. So that has become an issue.
And there's no public transport to get them there.
So what happens normally in that, if they can't go in the kitchen and work, they'll work in the office. I've got a girl right now. We're starting a new endeavor. I'm crazy. I was always got something going. I just went crazy on a new auction site I saw. And so now she's categorized all that, and I bought it for pennies on a dollar. So she's going to try to sell it out, and she's got some people coming in, but it keeps her working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're trying to make a little money. So it's just, and if somebody is out there, I get a lot of referrals for, so-and-so's coming to see Miss Robin. She just needs some cash because she's going to get going here and there. All right, they come out. A lot of girls will be there maybe 2 days, clean the office. I'll have them do some small things, and they get paid cash. They go to pay their first month's rent at the halfway house, and at least they got a step ahead.
Yes.
So it just depends on where they're at. We are so versatile on what they need. Each girl that comes to us is different. I think we've touched in 3 years. I don't know. My sister says a lot more. I haven't kept track. I really haven't. We're starting to keep track, for grants and all that type of thing. But I think we've touched at least 100 lives, really made an impact in different ways. And we do men too. They come on the other side, and we have connections with other agencies and people. We've had people walk in that they were on drugs, and we could tell, and they just happen to walk in our door. I don't believe the circumstances, and talk to them, and they say, "Yeah, I really need help." And they didn't realize they'd walked into a place that deals with that. And we picked up the phone and called and said, "Hey, I got someone here," got them into treatment right that day. That person came, picked them up, and got them going in the right direction. Great. And then I think the last thing we need is I need a grant writer. So I think we all need those.
Yes. Right? Yes, we do.
Yes. So that's it. Refer to us. If someone has any questions, they can pick up the phone. We'll talk. It's all about changing lives. We'll lock arms with anyone. If we can change lives and make differences in people's lives, that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. About how many women are in the program currently?
We don't have any in the program. I have 2 right now. 3, because we are small.
Well, and it's a more intensive program too. We talked to Joel over at Endure Athletics about that. It's not about you get them in, provide a temporary service, and then you send them on their way. It's a transformative program, and those services are deeper and take a longer investment. And so you can't have just 1,000 people in there doing that.
Yeah, and I think we're finding a lot right now, right? That as some of us are working more with clients and getting to know our clients better, we're having more success with those clients, right? We have so many organizations that bring them in. Here's what you need. Okay, get out. You're done. That they don't get the services they actually need, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important for all of us working in this field to slow down, get to know our clients. Mm-hmm.
Understand their story.
Mm-hmm.
Understand those barriers so that we can actually help them break those barriers down.
Exactly. Yeah. It is. And you have more of an impact on those few lives than you do if you have many,
Right.
And basically sometimes I'm just mama bear to them, Sometimes we're more.
Sometimes that's what they need, right?
It's what they need. It is what they need.
I love that.
Well, awesome. We are so excited that you came and told us your story today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity.
And thesweetaddiction.com.
Thesweetaddiction.com.
Where you can find all the information.
Mm-hmm.
And the emails are listed on there.
They are.
And reach out about catering.
And they're on the Facebooks and the Instagrams for sure. Possibly the X. We don't know. Possibly the TikToks. We don't know. But definitely the Facebook and Instagram. Definitely. So find them and like them.
We're at the Sweet Addiction 3 on Facebook.
The Sweet Addiction 3.
With
the number, not
number 3.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The number 3.
That's good to know.
That is good to know.
The Sweet Addiction 3.
That's only because we couldn't get it right the first 2 times.
Hurt.
So, that's the truth.
I feel that pain.
Fair.
I do.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for being here. It was great talking with you and learning more about you.
I expect you to be there for those biscuits and gravy.
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
That's early for me. Early. But I'll try. I will try.
Okay. And we always have to give a huge shout out to our producer, Trent Denson at Spread the Positive, bringing light to what's going right.
Thank you, Trent. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
time.